What's up, everybody, it's Soul, and today we are here for, I think, probably the first time ever on the channel, besides maybe a stream I did forever ago, in Victoria 3, and the reason that we're here is that a friend of the channel, Varigan, asked me if I had ever tried this Victoria 3 mod called Realms of Exether, and I told him that I hadn't, and so today I'm just sort of jumping in here giving this a look, because I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about. I'm not very good at Victoria 3. In fact, I've only played like maybe 7 or 8 hours of it total ever. So I don't know how much playing I'm going to do, but I just kind of want to look at it because, you know, I love a good fantasy total conversion mod, so I'm very curious. And I really love the art for this already, so we'll just have to see. So I'm going to go in here to new game, and it looks like we have a couple objectives we can try to achieve, or we can do a sandbox. So let's see. Birth of Artifice. Magic and gods are new and world-changing concepts to the people of Exether. In some places, that has given rise to new religions or returned to ancient traditions, but in others, it has become the focus of intense scientific study. Will the old kingdoms of the settler coast adapt and sail on the winds of change, or will magic be their undoing? And it looks like you have a few different kingdoms that you can work with. The states that now make up Eredor achieved independence from the Dumonian Empire during the Nightfall, a period of magical calamities following the destruction of the kingdom of Cuse. Officially, a monarch rules over the Union, but their power pales next to the Astral Consortium, a cabal of wealthy industrial titans. Rapid technology progress has shifted culture within Eredor away from old Demnonian traditions and religion in favor of industry and innovation. Interesting, okay. So this is sort of, yeah, like, I mean, it's Victoria, so it's sort of like the transitionary, like steampunky kind of period. Let's see what Wilds of the South is. With Denonia suffering a crushing defeat in the Viceroy's War, it has turned its eyes towards the rich resources of the South Seas. The balance of the region be damned. The Empire will have its dues. Jesus extracted blood if and when the local nations refuse its purported rightful authority. So this is sort of like what happened in Central Africa, but just recreated in this. An Imperial holding tasked with the economic exploitation of Lokari. Will they subjugate the continent or be just another failed dream of conquest? Oh, geez, the South Seas Company. So yeah, a draconic obstacle to Demnonia's plans for the Southern conquest. Will they conclude their own empire's decline or resurrect it among the jungles and deserts? Interesting. Then we have Hostle's Legacy, which is with magic spreading throughout the world, it was only a matter of time before new and old crisis would emerge. And no region had more trouble brewing the continent of no region had more trouble brewing than the continent of Zalaron, now embroiled in war after war as the old lines in the map are either replaced with new ones or violently held in place. So this is like the war-focused one. The outcome of the Third Ravikian Crusade will shake the region, but on the Dragon Isles, a more immediate concern demands attention. A mysterious disease is turning Dragonborn into kobolds. Actually, that's really cool. That's really neat. Rivals on the Scale Tides. This is interesting. Home to gnolls, goblins, ogres, avians, and kobolds, few pay much mind to the western seas, but this state of affairs will not last long, as territorial and nationalistic ambitions among the monstrous inhabitants, as well as the meddling of established empires, drives them ever further towards modernity. So you have the hobgoblins, you have the koboldification of the Dragon Isles, you have the avian nations, which remain divided, and you have some goblins, it looks like, over here. Avian nation sounds kind of interesting. And so do hobgoblins, but I kind of like the idea of either Birth of the Artifice or Wilds of the South. Okay, this one's not. The Skyhold of House Vosmead is the largest and most prosperous of the dwarven skyholds in Zalaron. Alright, well, I'm already sold. The dwarves have settled on the peaks of the Worm Spire mountain range and have built intricate structures into the cliffs and rock faces. They have harnessed the power of cloud silver to create magnificent airships, which are essential for trade and transportation across the continent, earning them significant clout in international dealings. With limited land to farm, I should say, on the mountainside, they have developed a system of irrigated terraces that use glacial water to grow crops and provide a reliable source of water that is otherwise scarce in the region. These mountain farms have become an essential source of food for both the dwarves themselves and the surrounding dark elf settlements. Interesting. Let's start with this. I'm not going to probably play it too much. If you want me to try and play this in another video, I'll do that. This is mostly just so you can see the map and see everything going on, and we can just sort of like look around. I'm, again, not super familiar with Victoria, so I would have to like play around with it a little bit on my own, and then we could try to maybe do a video in the future. Also, if my voice sounds bad, I'm sorry. I've been sick for like 3 days, and it won't go away. Oh, I love this loading screen. This is sick. Welcome to Realms of Exether. Step into a reimagined world of Victoria 3 where the gears of industry and the mystique of magic intertwine. This mod introduces a wealth of new features. Supernatural goods harness the power of Wishstone, Cloud Silver, and Ectoplasm through specialized buildings and industries. The Rune Seers Mages interest group, a new interest group representing spellcasters, alchemists, artificers, and magical scholars, influencing your nation's politics and society, I should say. Arcana systems unleashing powerful buffs by collecting and mastering arcana cards tied to religious institutions. You have adventurers coverage, expanding your state's protection by establishing questing offices and hiring adventurers, retainers to safeguard your people and cover riches. Interesting. Racial technologies unlock unique advancement for each fantasy race at the bottom of the tech tree, offering diverse and flavorful strategies. Forge your legacy in a land of steam, sorcery, and endless possibilities. How will you shape the realms of Exether? Onward! Alright. So this is the map. It looks like a map, certainly. Actually, it's really big. Holy crap. Goodness. Interesting. So what we got going on over here? Let's see. Is there anything unique? Is this this is that area? Oh wow, look at these guys. The goblins, they look fantastic. Wow. Actually, let's see. So we're supposed to be like a sky people, correct? I don't actually know where I am on the map, and I don't know how to find it again. So we are here, right? Okay, okay. Oh no, this is me, I'm stupid. Can I see myself? Whoa, okay. So there is like a little building and stuff up here in the peaks. This is interesting, okay. Okay, the Vosmia Peaks, we have the dunes here, little towns. It looks like we have some access to some rails as well, which makes sense because we're dwarves. So it looks like they have all of this territory down here, and then outside of that are these are humans. It said they had dark elves. I'm not sure if I see the dark elves though. So yeah, let's see what our overall look is looking like here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it looks like we are a rank 8 great power, so they're actually really strong. They have quite a lot of battalions. They have the 21st best or largest army in the world. They are number 10 on the power block. They have 20 flotillas, so they have quite a good amount of ship power as well, which is interesting being a dwarf. They have a pretty good sized GDP. Their population is around 7.2 million. 40% literacy rate. You can probably work on getting that up. Impoverished, so they're doing a little poorly. They have Cragmorn as their religion, which there's not descriptions of those, I don't believe, like in Crusader Kings, so that won't be very helpful. This is their primary culture, and their tradition is dwarven engineering. Let's see what this is. Having just been awoken from their millennia-long slumber by the nightfall, what was once grandiose empires renowned across the world have become ruins deep within mountains, isolated for the last thousands of years of history. Ever pragmatic, the dwarves have, by and large, seen this new world order as an opportunity to reforge their own place within it, reviving ancient techniques and knowledge while sharing their knowledge only with those who cooperate. Despite their competition having a head start, the dwarven people are nonetheless setting on striking while the iron is hot. So they've just been awoken. That's actually really interesting. The Purpur Wedding. The dark elf nation of Yavira and the dwarven kingdom of Vosmead stand on the brink of historical political union. Years of mutual reliance have led to this unprecedented alliance, combining Yavira's rich soils with Vosmead's unmatched craftsmanship. As leaders gather to seal the pact, the realm anticipates a new era of power and possibility. Will this union bring prosperity, or will their differences spark unforeseen strife? The future of both nations hangs in the balance. They want us to assert our economic dominance before the wedding date. And it appears that they already do sort of have that, and our relationships with them are quite amicable, I would say. It looks to be the case. They have pretty even numbers. We have some good leverage over them, and it looks like that's probably because of this alliance, this marriage that's going to be happening. What is our government? It's also a monarchy. Okay. Interesting. And they have elven beauty as a tradition. Elves are a long-lived race of Exether. In terms of overall population, elves are the longest living race in the realm. While far from immortal, their incredibly slow aging leaves them statically primed, pristine for decades at a time, sometimes even longer. More than the elves are closely attuned by the use of magic. This fact is what ultimately led to the decline of elven power through the Age of Men. Then the disappearance of magic left elves weakened to the whims of other dominant geopolitical forces. But as of the Nightfall, magic has returned, and with that, the elves of Exeter too have regained much of their strength. Interesting. Okay, so these are humans, I would assume, right? This is a guy. Just a normal dude. I kind of want to see these oh, that's an orc. Got some little dudes over here. Oh, here's one of the avian races they were talking about. Avian freedom is their tenet, which is a work in progress, so it does not have anything written for it. I'm very curious about that. I love the way they look, too. And it looks like they don't have, like, moving models yet, which makes sense. Draconic heritage, these are dragon people. This is a giant. The fact that some of them move and they do have models and stuff is really neat to me. They do not have a tradition, which is interesting. This is a draconic heritage. The Dragonborn have long upheld the values of their masters, even after the dragons of Exether largely vanished with the disappearance of magic after the God's Bane. Today, they maintain this discipline, while their devolved kin, the kobolds, fanatically cling to traditions of their long-dead masters. Whether guarding hordes, amassing gold, or exploring ancient ruins, the children of dragons remain proud of their heritage, no matter how far into history their forebears fade. I see. This person's actually rank 3. It looks like they're quite powerful, and they probably are trying to take over this area, which I think is where this this disease is turning people into kobolds. Yes, it is hard for me to tell. I'm still not. I mean, like, I'm not very used to reading the Victoria 3 screens. Oh, this guy's got a little stogie. That's pretty sick. This, I believe, might be the queen on the cover of the game that you probably saw on the cover of the thing. Yeah, humanity, the favored race of the gods. This is what ancient humans believed in the Age of Myth, at least. Humans are a well-spread species across Zalaron. In particular, nearly every corner of the supercontinent has these supple-skinned bipedal creatures who's especially quick-witted and innovative. While far from being individually the most intelligent species in the realm, humans by far are without equal masters of discovering new ways in which to be lazy. The arcane revolution birthed at the hands of humans is no coincidence. So I'm in Yavir, or I'm in here. And it looks to me, let's see, power block military. Let's look at my, so this is our politics. I believe our government, okay, so here we go. So this is the major forces of our government. I'm just gonna flip through these because, you know, people who are familiar with Victoria will know this more, but it looks like our biggest two blocks are these two in our government, and our opposition is guild artisans, devout, landowners, and the armed forces, which is never good. You never want this. You can obviously integrate people back into this. It looks like we have a contested government, which is also not super great. So that would be something that we'd have to work on. Interesting. Our weekly cost is not too bad as far as that goes, because it looks like they're making enough bureaucracy to sort of afford that. Our budget, we are making in the green. Okay. I kind of want to see if there's these airships that they were talking about. I don't know if I'd be able to see that on the map, though. They might not be like actually rendered, like doing anything. Markets, and it looks like, are we trading anything? I think we trade these things. Okay, it looks like they already have a pretty stable economy. Diplomacy with Yavira. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. When the Vazi dwarves emerged from their hold following their long slumber, they found their ancestral lands arid and inhospitable. Through ingenuity, they overcame environmental hurdles by utilizing mountaintop glaciers for water in combination with mountainside terrace farms. More recently, the arrival of the arid rune elves have sparked a renaissance for both the dwarves and the newcomers. The two races find themselves complementing each other in culture, trade, and politics. The chime silt trade, previously an odd niche of the Nogi Sands, has made the region very wealthy thanks to an ever-growing demand abroad. Will the airships flying the routes of the Silt Wind herald a new future for the Vosmead Peaks, or will history remember them as the beginning of a dark turn in Dwarven history? Interesting, because of Yavira, which... Yavira are recently arriving on a massive arc from the distant continent of Laslesh. The South Sea Elves came to Zalaron seeking their lost goddess after feeling the impact of the nightfall from across the world. They've since become hardened by the Nogi Desert they now inhabit, having dug intricate subterranean settlements and taking advantage of the chime silt trade with their dwarven friends, the Vazi. The Arid Rune have recently sent emissaries to the other elves of Zalaron, offering riches and knowledge from the south as tokens of friendship. Their goals are noble, but none can deny that these are missionary expeditions in search of new followers and in search of their lost goddess. That sounds really interesting. Will the people of the Nogi unite for a better future or turn against each other for their own pursuits? So it looks like they expand resource industries, promote liberal reforms and economic imperialism, and it looks like we are primarily focused on... It does not say... Interesting. Well, that's really cool. I like the ideas of all of these. However, like I said, I don't know too much about Victoria 3 to the point where like I wouldn't be able to just jump in here and like mess around with any of this because I would have to actually, you know, learn how to play the game a little better than I do now. There's a lot of races in this. Oh my god, it's like a gorilla. It's an ape man. We love those. Okay, so they do have like little cities and stuff. They look lovely. I mean, I think most of that is just the Victoria assets anyway. I don't know how much of that is new. This is interesting. It looks like there's a war going on over here. It looks like the battle line is quite long, actually. Oh, it goes across the entire line. Jesus. So the whole border, they're at war with these guys. East Thaloria. Once the seat of human power in the far west, Thaloria now stands on the brink of dissolution. Revanchist gnomes of the rising Necros state, Ravik to its north, have been the architects behind defeat after humiliating defeat for the once unbeaten Thalorian Empire. Already 2 crusades waged by the Raviki have seen success and shattered the western part of Thaloria. Eager to finish the job, the Raviki have begun their third and potentially final crusade against the remnants of Thaloria. West Thaloria may be currently lost, but there is still hope in the east. As Raviki forces in south, soul-wrought battle thralls march on Thaloria, there will be no shortages of patriots willing to lay down their lives for the sake of Thaloria. The Lacustrins are committed to preserving their proud heritage and repelling these foul necromantic gnomes. Onward for Thaloria, the age of men will never end. They expand resource industries, conservative agenda, and expand core territory. And the Ravik, these are interesting. So these are necromantic. The gnomes of Ravik were once a simple, primitive society. Their stature left them open to the expansionism of their southern human neighbors, Thaloria. Pushed to the coast and oppressed for decades, these gnomes felt no other choice but to embrace the dark art of necromancy when one of their own discovered its secret, Hassal Nezalek. Through hate in their hearts for mankind and their exploitation of the dead, the Raviki have formed a powerful meritocracy which has surged past that of the decadent Thalorians and handed these brazen fools defeat after defeat. The 2 successful crusades, blah, 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 against this abhorrent empire have come and gone, and the third begins on this day to finally shatter the ancient oppressors of the gnomish people. That kind of reframes this. The Soul Rods are ready to prove their worth to their creators to join Raviki society, and the gnomes of Ravik stand united to dissolve Thaloria and bring about the gnomous age of Fresso, I think. Onward, the Age of Man is finished. Interesting. I have a rivalry with the Emerald League. which I believe I had already clicked on earlier. So let me go find those guys. Hold on. Yeah, these guys, I apparently don't like the Emerald League. And this is they are a republic. Yeah, okay. And I apparently don't like them for that. So that would potentially be a conflict. So it'd be like working on securing this alliance. We have a lot of hearts. And then it would be working on probably maybe taking over this land just for more of their stuff. As far as that goes, this is a compelling one over here. This is really interesting that they were sort of oppressed and they had to like basically become evil in their idea to take these, or like to get revenge, which would basically, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So it's sort of like how that's going on for them. And then there's like this curse over here in the Dragon Isles that's turning the Dragon Kid into kobolds, which is kind of interesting. Interesting. This is cool. Again, I don't know too much about playing Victoria 3, so wait, I forgot. The map just kind of does that, doesn't it? Okay, yeah. I thought that it just kept going. I was like, there's no way that it's this big. That would be too much. But it is a big map, and it looks like there's a lot of interesting lore already written into it. Like I said, I think this mod has been out since like June. Actually, I don't think I said that. I think this mod has been out since like June of 2024. So about a year in development. If you're a Victoria 3 fan, it looks like something really interesting to play. I may give this a go if you guys are curious to see or like hear about a story, maybe. I would probably edit that one together because playing Victoria 3 is not necessarily visually that interesting from what I have played of it, but it could be fun to do like a little video and just, you know, like sort of give you a rundown of things that I did. That could, like I've done with Mountain Blade or other things. But, you know, as always, that's it for me. Thanks to Varigan for reaching out and recommending this mod or for me to look at it. And as always, I'm Soul, and I will, wait a minute. We found orcs. Orcs are a proud and hardy species known in ancient times as the guardians of wild places. The orcs have fought many brutal wars throughout history and are renowned for their resilience in the face of hardship. No matter the condition, the orcs have found ways to survive, seldom thriving in present times due to their corruption which the nightfall has wrought on nature. They have begun to view themselves above simple luxuries. For an orc to struggle and survive is luxury enough. That's an interesting way to frame orcs, actually. So orcs are basically guardians of, like, you know, nature and stuff, which is not typically how they're viewed in like other fantasy things. So I kind of like that. I think that's a fun like difference. That's usually like an elven thing. So for it to be orcs, I think that's actually really cool. I saw Rustak, so I was like, maybe, you know, it could be interesting. Yeah, so if they don't have much going on for them, they'll just have the magic and gods thing that'll pop up. But that's really cool. I like this a lot. But as always, I'm Soul. You know, if you want me to check out more of this, I will happily do so. But until then, I will happily see you in the next one.